Women of Reddit, what do men do that they think is okay, but is actually creepy? Where's my hug? Saying anything along the lines of "you're perfect" upon minutes of meeting. I have a large tattoo on my shoulder, and I've had several men come up from behind and move my tank top strap and bra strap to see it better. It's been mostly in grocery stores and Lowe's of all places. That hassling you for a date because you don't have a BF is not okay, but you don't have a BF. The point is, dude, I'd rather be single than date you. Take the bloody hint. My wife had a boss that would come up behind the ladies and start giving them shoulder massages. Not cool, dude. When I'm walking down the sidewalk, follow me slowly in a car while trying to talk to me. I hate this. Putting their hands on your thigh or back casually while talking to you. If I'm being friendly, it's not a signal for you to touch me. Far too many co-workers, creepy uncles, etc. find this okay. I don't have air in my car, but it's so hot where I live, so my windows are always down. When I come to a red light, men try to talk to me from their vehicles, and it makes me wildly uncomfortable because I obviously can't get away. Block and exit while trying to start a conversation. Just point, don't do it ever. When strange men approach me and start asking personal questions, like we are on a first date. When they walk behind you, they either touch your lower back or give your shoulders a squeeze. Those things are only okay for my husband to do. No one else. It isn't cute or endearing. It's extremely uncomfortable to deal with and makes women avoid you or cringe when you're near. My workplace is mostly men. There are 3 women and approximately 25 men. I used to bring in homemade baked goods a lot. Pumpkin bread, brownies, cookies, s'mores bars and the like. I enjoy being in the kitchen. It's a nice gesture to share. One guy started drawing me borderline inappropriate Minnie Mouse drawings. Not done well. Traced images but with small changes like her bloomers to short. Weird to explain. I'm the exact opposite of a person you'd think would like anything Disney related, let alone Minnie. He said he drew them to thank me for the treats. I stopped bringing in treats, which resulted in everyone else questioning why I quit baking. Very awkward all around. I've come across a few men who don't seem to understand that I have a boyfriend means I'm not single and I don't want to be pursued or flirted with. Tell you to smile. It used to make me really uncomfortable. Now I just grin manically at them. Follow you around while you're out because they want to keep talking to you after you've already made 2 attempts to end the conversation. Grabbing my wrists. It is a huge ultimate no. Thinking it's okay to send pics by way of introduction. Maybe I'll want to see it at some point eventually, but try saying hi first. DMs. Hey, I'm not interested. You stupid. Men who grope you and say it's okay. I'm not attracted to women at all. So step the off my dress, Mary, and keep your hands to yourself like a normal person then. Consistent pursuit. My senior year of high school, a junior guy kept pursuing me. We were in an Algebra 2 class together and had after school practices for theater. This was my first year in any production. My goals that year were to try something new and maybe make some new friends. Enter junior. It started off as friendly conversations. Things we had in common. He was nice and funny, but not my type. There was no spark for me. He asked me out. I said no. He was polite about my rejection and I figured we'd be friends. About 2 months into the school year, he said that he was having a bunch of the cast over for a party that weekend. Sure. Who doesn't like a party? When I got to his house, it was just him, his family, and me. I thought I was early. No problem. I sat in the living room and we talked. 15 minutes later I texted a friend and told her to call me as soon as possible and fake an emergency because my gut felt off. By the time she calls, I've been there about 35 minutes. His mom is almost done cooking dinner. No one else has shown up, and his dad had made a passing remark about his son bringing such a nice girl for dinner. That was the official red flag. I knew Junior hadn't invited anyone else over. I noped out of there saying my sister had locked herself out of the house and she needed my key. I ignored him as much as I could after that. One word responses when he asked me things. Minimal interaction during class and practice. He asked me out 3 more times that year, either oblivious or ignorant to my attraction. The last time was to prom and he knew I had started dating someone. He played it off as, oh no, I meant both of you come with me. Not a group, mind you, just him. I had to drop out of theater that spring due to a band conflict, and it ended up being a blessing because it got me away from him. It's a tame example, but it still gives me the creeps when I remember him. You're cute when you're angry. Constantly pushing for a date after saying we aren't interested. Like a high school boy having a crush and the girl saying I just like you as a friend, and they keep pushing like she'll fall in love. Sorry, that's just a fairy tale. Please stop after we say we don't like you. No hard feelings. We just don't want to date you. Honking, yelling, or some form of catcalling while I'm running, or even just walking down the street. When men I don't know well at all do random favors for me without me asking. I know it can come from an innocent place, but I've had enough build up to creepy behavior that started with small things that I'm immediately suspicious. Example, not terribly dark. A previous neighbor of mine who was around 45. I was 25. We lived in a house split into apartments, so we shared a yard. He would water my flowers, spread mulch onto my flower beds, clean my gutters, etc. without asking beforehand if I wanted or needed him to help, but he'd always tell me afterward he'd done it. I was already kind of wary about what he expected from me, so I thanked him with a 6-pack, which seemed to disappoint him. He also said numerous times that he worries about me living alone and he'd protect me if I ever had an intruder or anything. Which, okay, thanks. I decided he was just a generous person. He introduced me to the other neighbors, and once in a while we'd all go out for a drink at the pub down the road, and he'd pay for everyone's drinks, regardless of whose idea it was to go out. So I thought, okay, this is just how he is. And I thought that until I looked up from my couch around 11 PM, and he was standing in my flower bed staring through my window with his hands cupped around his eyes. He grinned and tapped on the glass like, hey, come here, let's talk. So I went outside. I was waiting on a friend to come pick me up, to find him wearing what I think was a suit, swaying, very drunk, and he says, let's go out. Where do you want to go? I was like, hey, sorry, I've got plans with a friend tonight. So he interrogates me about what kind of friend. It was a guy. Then out comes the list of all the things he's done for me. How he'd never let anyone hurt me. How even though he's old enough to be my father. Then he kind of trailed off. I asked, do you mean go out on a date? Mumbles, yeah, kind of. I said I didn't think of him that way, and that he was right. I kind of did put him in the category of people my father's age. Then he got mad saying things like, wow, so that's how you're gonna be, huh? And I was just so surprised and had no idea what to do, so I just started apologizing. My friend arrived with flawless timing. I've got curly hair, and I'm sick of men thinking they can just come and grab a coil of hair and pull it like I'm some kind of slinky spring. Don't touch my hair and don't call me moody when I tell you to stop. Eater, seems like it's people with curly hair, colored hair, long hair, no hair and facial hair all suffering together here. Also, I've not had many women reach for my hair, but obviously they do. Please don't touch our hair without permission. It's such an intimate thing to do for a lot of us. It's not most men at all, but there was one man who acted super creepy and seemed to think it was fine. I worked with this guy back when I was 18. The two of us as well as some other coworkers would hang out all the time, and I was generally friendly with the guy. Same sort of friendly as I'd use with anyone else, but I guess it made him obsessed with me. For about 5 years he would constantly message me telling me how amazing I am. He clearly seemed to think that was a good idea and it would make me feel good, and I guess make me into him? Or maybe he already thought I was into him? Point is, if someone turns you down they probably aren't playing hard to get. Try once. If they turn you down and you suspect they are playing the stupid hard to get game, then ask them directly. Don't pester them constantly for years. That is scary behavior. And yes, I did block the guy eventually. Then he started making alternative accounts to add me with. That's where we are getting into stalker territory though. Maybe it's just me, but asking if I live alone. Now if at this point of inquiry there was an already established friendship, I suppose it's okay. But if you are a stranger or an acquaintance, that would freak me out. Guys who try to assert their dominance by crushing your hand while shaking it. I have arthritis and it is excruciatingly painful. I know you said but I think you're cute and wanted to know if you'll give me a chance. Admittedly, that has thankfully only happened to me online, and that is a politely worded version, but I have plenty of friends who have gotten it in real life too. Dare me to kiss my girlfriend in front of him to prove I'm/be disgusting and daily. I'm an elderly woman and it really pisses me off when men that I don't know call me sweetie or honey or sweetheart. Dudes, just don't. I'm not your grandma with a dish of cookies for you. Catcalling. Like, WTF. In what world is someone gonna turn around and be appreciative instead of creep the out? I hate when a guy walks behind me if they are trying to get by how they put their hand on my lower back. I don't know you. Please don't touch me. It's pretty simple. It happens all the time. Real question. Do the items listed happen to women all the time? My mind is blown at how obviously not okay these examples are. It happens enough that women have reason to be cautious at best and downright paranoid at worst. Honestly, if you see something, say something, because misogynists only listen to other men. It happens often enough that I'm never surprised when it does, and many times I can see it coming.